always lit over at AJsRANTroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to AJsRANTroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome in. Hope all is good. I know we're a little late tonight, but I was doing another live stream. So now I'm here, but your boy's here. So appreciate it. Thank you so much. We have a great show for you tonight. We have a great inspiration point that will close out the show, give you all the good feels, all the good love. In our politics fix, we will talk about it. Was it a blue wave? Or was it not a blue wave? What happened? We'll talk about what happened. In our uncomfortable conversation, we will talk about the musties. I'm sorry, I must be politically correct because I'm streaming on TikTok. The infiltration of our government by a certain demographic of people, and we will discuss that more, because what TikTok won't be able to do is take me down for misinformation if I use their words. So if I use their words, you can't say that I'm misinforming people. I love a good loophole. Anyway, in our turntable rewind, we're going to take it back to the year 1989, where we have the #1 song, the #1 movie, and the #1 album in America. We'll also talk about the new Michael Jackson biopic about to roll through. We have a good AJ throwback picture for you, and our Leave Me Alone segment will leave you in stitches. All that and more coming up on the Rant Experience.
Thank you for tuning into the Rant Experience. This episode is brought to you by our official merch store, AJsRANTroom.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you get new uploads and live streams hot off the presses. We drop a new episode of the Rant Experience every Friday, and now it's time for a politics fix.
So, is it or is it not? That is the question. Was it a blue wave? Did the Democrat Party just trounce all over the red and the Republicans? Let's be real. It was a predicted concentration of wins in places where Democrats were already supposed to win. There's a difference between momentum and a miracle. Track with me, y'all. Because people calling this a blue wave, you just need to shut up. What happened this week was called momentum. Okay? No miracle. There was no miracle. See, I call something a wave when a political party breaks through enemy territory, a la Joe Biden in 2020, allegedly, right? When they win someplace where they usually don't, like when Glenn Youngkin and Winsome Sears won back in 2021, when they took Virginia in 2021, that would be considered a red wave because that's not a race that they would ordinarily win. Are you tracking? Okay, so Virginia has been deep blue for years. Democrats ran that state from the governor's mansion all the way down to the school boards, and still the people flipped it red. Are you tracking now? See, that was bold. That was unexpected. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a wave. So when Democrats came out on top in 2025, let's not act brand new. Winsome Earl Sears losing this time wasn't a total shocker. That was the uphill terrain we were up against. Same with New York City and the Democrat socialists, and I can't call them what I really want to call them for the sake of TikTok. The Democratic socialist Zoran Mamdani. It's the same with him. That's a city where even the pigeons lean left. So what are we even talking about? And Jersey, please, Jersey in 2025 is not the same Jersey that elected Chris Christie. Chris Christie would not be electable in the state of New Jersey, and neither would Rudy Giuliani in New York City in 2025. It wouldn't even be close. Both of those places are Democrat country all day. Demographically speaking, those regions are locked in, especially since many Republicans have already packed up and dipped out to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and other states in the South where people still have value and a smidge of common sense left. So again, there wasn't a blue wave. A real blue wave would be something like flipping Texas blue. Where you have a blue governor, a blue Democrat Senate in Texas, a blue Democrat controlled state legislator. Until that happens, this ain't it. Now I'll tell you what it is. It is a warning shot, though, because Democrats might not have had a wave, but they're mastering the optics game. They've turned the art of spin into science. They're running full-blown political theater. No king's protests, fake outrage, constant identity politics, and emotional manipulation all on loop. And the legacy media feeds it 24/7. See, Democrats can't beat Donald Trump or most conservatives in general on policy. They can't beat us on logic. They can't beat us on science or common sense. They know it. So instead, they manipulate emotions. They play to feelings, not facts. They bank on people who don't know civics, who never cracked open the Constitution, and who will get all their news from TikTok. Tell them. They tell them Trump's a dictator. Trump's destroying democracy, even though there's zero proof he's violated the Constitution up until this point. And if he did violate the Constitution, you would hear actually the conservatives speak up. They gaslight the country into panic mode, and people who should know better run into the streets like the world is ending. And here's the crazy part. If Trump really was trying to be a king or was a king or established himself as a king, these people wouldn't have the right to protest. But again, we're talking about logic, right? That's the logic part, and it's lost on them. Democrats know they can't win on logic, so they feed the mob emotion. They've been gaslighting everybody, their base, MAGA, independents, even moderates. They deny the violent things they say, the chaos they spark, and the activists they inspire to go too far. Then they hide their hands like, who, us? Yeah, you, mofo. Yeah, you. Your words, your prompts caused all of this carnage. And then you have idiots like Harry Sisson getting on their platforms, their massive platforms, talking about MAGA. The shooter was MAGA, and with no proof. Let's be clear. This ain't the Democrat Party of Kennedy or even Clinton, for that matter. This new version is radicalized, no brakes, no balance. They won't even work across the aisle, ladies and gentlemen. And now we've got a generation of young, impressionable people running around thinking they're freedom fighters. These people think they're in some sort of new civil rights movement, when in reality, President Donald Trump has been fighting to set them free from government overreach, from dependency, from lies. They've been fed about what America actually stands for. Freedom doesn't mean no boundaries, right? You still have to have boundaries. There has to be breaks on things. There has to be limits on things, because as human beings, we will just wreck it, right? That's our nature, to just do too much. And so when you have things and measures in position, you work within those parameters. And here's where it gets a little deep here. Now that Democrats secured those gubernatorial and local wins, suddenly they want to talk about reopening the government. All of a sudden, now we can negotiate. And one of the things Chuck Schumer presented today was the very thing that was presented to them at the top of the shutdown, which is that 1-year extension on the ACA subsidies. Ain't that something? It ain't about timing, and it's all about timing, and it's all about optics. The shutdown wasn't just a budget fight. It was a campaign strategy. They weaponized people's paychecks and the pain for political points. They told the American people Republicans control everything, the executive branch, the Congress, while knowing the Senate was boxed in by the filibuster rules. They knew this. But they conveniently, you've never shown me a Democrat that has said in public anything about the filibuster. Right. Because then they would have to then take accountability for things, right? They ain't never going to do that. The only way Republicans could have pushed through everything was to go nuclear and the filibuster, which Donald Trump is still talking about to this day. And Republicans, because we still have a lot of rhinos in the party, don't have the balls to pull the lever. But we know as soon as the day Democrats have power again in the Senate, they're getting rid of the filibuster. We already know this. We already know this. If Democrats get control again, and I'm sure one day the pendulum will swing back the other way, they are going to burn this country to the ground with an unprecedented amount of authority, and y'all are going to sit there clapping and applaud it like a bunch of stupid seals. So yes, they played the optics game perfectly. They exploited emotions. They fundraised off the chaos, and they used the suffering of everyday people as a campaign ad. And let's talk about the judiciary for a second. We've got federal judges trying to tell the executive branch what it can and can't do about releasing federal benefits. Where in the Constitution does it say a judge can overrule the president on the executive functions? Nowhere. But the media won't touch that. They'll just spin it like, oh, the courts are saving democracy. Nah, they're saving Democrat narratives. So again, was it a blue wave? Absolutely not. A blue wave means Democrats take back the House and Senate in 2026. That's a wave. This right here, what happened on Tuesday, that was expected. That was scripted. We knew that was coming. But let's be clear. It's also a warning, because if Republicans don't fix their messaging, get consistent, and hit back with the same energy, the optics game will eat them alive. Democrats don't need facts. They've got emotion, social media, and the perfect echo chamber to keep their base fired up, a la Blue Sky. So don't let anyone gaslight you. These 2025 results from Virginia and New Jersey and even Prop 50 in California were were not proof of a wave. They were proof that Democrats can win new ground. But they're damn good at protecting their turf. Prop 50 was another perfect example. Wrapping in feel-good language around about government accountability, but underneath it, it was all about consolidating power, expanding bureaucracy, and keeping the same people in control. That's the Democrat Party playbook, emotional manipulation dressed up as progress. But real progress, that's truth. That's policy that works. That's freedom. So no, it wasn't a blue wave. It was a blue reminder, a reminder that Republicans better stop playing defense. Learn to tell the truth loudly and start fighting the narrative war with the same energy the left brings to the emotional one. Because 2026 is coming. She a coming. And if the GOP doesn't wake up now, those little ripples the Democrats made this year, it's going to turn into a full-fledged hurricane, a tsunami, a typhoon. And I said what I said. So the GOP better get the molasses out they took us, because it's time for some action. It's time to light it on fire. It's not time to cower. It's not time to be fractured. It's time to unite, and it's time to be about it. 2026 is vital. It's vital, not just to the Trump administration, but to the future of the Republican Party. So get it together. Anyway, so what happened on this day in American history?
So, what happened on this day in American history?
In 1872, cargo ship Mary Celeste sails from Staten Island for Genoa and is mysteriously found abandoned 4 weeks later. In 1943, legendary singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell was born. Known for her poetic lyrics and groundbreaking albums like Blue and Cotton Spark, Mitchell reshaped the landscape of folk and pop music. In 1989, L. Douglas Wilder was elected governor of Virginia, becoming the first African American elected governor in U.S. history. The victory was a powerful culture moment, resonating far beyond politics. In 1991, basketball legend and Hall of Famer Magic Johnson announces he has HIV and is retiring from the LA Lakers. In the year 2000, controversial U.S. presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore is inconclusive. The result in Bush's favor is eventually decided by the Supreme Court. In 2013, Twitter officially went public on the New York Stock Exchange. The IPO cemented Twitter's role as a pop culture megaphone, the digital stage where trends, debates, and viral moments shape global conversations in real time. And in the year 2020, former Vice President Joe Biden is declared the winner of the U.S. presidential election 4 days after the U.S. election, defeating, allegedly, President Donald Trump. Kamala Harris makes history as the first woman and first woman of color, colored people, elected vice president. Now, are we ready for an uncomfortable conversation? All right. So, this is going to be the longest segment of the night. And I know we live in a hyper technological world where if we're not thrown into entertainment in 5 seconds, we need to go find our dopamine somewhere. But I need you to shut the hell up and let me cook. Got it? Cool. I'm not speeding through this. I'm making my case. And if you don't like it, oh well. The instant oatmeal, because sometimes I find myself doing it. Sometimes I literally have on my phone, my MacBook, and my television at the same time, watching 3 different things. And they're not even football games. Sometimes it's like somebody's getting unalived over here, and there's some documentary on here, and then something going on. Yeah, this is the moment to just give me a moment to cook. Give me a moment, because I got to make this point very, very, very clear. During his victory speech on Tuesday, New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani said, quote, "We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve." If that didn't alarm you, I don't know what will, especially if you're a conservative, especially if you are not into big government. Because that is not the government's responsibility to solve your problems. But as soon as I heard that, it reminded me of this quote from one of the greatest presidents of all time, Ronald Reagan.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Now, as I said in my intro, I want to make it so I'm not being charged with misinformation. So I want to use these people's words. I don't want me to just say that they said something. I want them to use their own words and really prove my point, so nobody can say that I'm lying or I'm Islamophobic or I don't like Muslims or whatever theory you want to pull out there. I want to make it very, very clear. I don't hate anybody. And I'd have to know you personally to hate you. Or you'd have to do something really bad to me personally for me to hate you. So upon the victory of Zorhan Mamdani, Muslims poured into the streets of New York City and said,
"We're done hiding. We're done. We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be upon, of Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home." So I want you to repeat after me. I want to hear it in every single district. It should tremble. Brooklyn should hear it. The Bronx should hear it. Queens should hear it. Say it as if the Ummah depends on this, my brothers and sisters. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadan Rasulullah. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah, the God of Jesus, the God of Moses, the God of Abraham, and the God of the last and final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Isn't it funny how the facade of peace and unity dropped within a couple of hours of Zorhan Mamdani being elected mayor? Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Because if I just said that the facade dropped, TikTok would have said, "Oh, he's lying, misinformation. Take his live stream down for 7 days." Even Mondami went from mild-mannered, even keel kind of person. "Oh, cool. I'm just cool dude, just trying to run for mayor," to sounding like his radical ancestors. His victory speech, I mean, it was one of the most angry, divisive things I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard somebody in a victory speech tell the person they just defeated, "I hope I never see you again." Donald Trump has never even said anything like that in a victory speech. And let me be clear. As I just said, I don't hate Muslims. I have Muslims in my family. I have cousins who still send me a whole bunch of stuff. I don't watch most of it, but whatever, they're free to send it. I'm not going to tell them not to send it. I don't share my beliefs with them because I'm not interested. I like to spend my time where I know it's going to be valued, but if they want to share something, let them share it. They're not telling me I have to do something. They're not telling me what I believe is wrong. We have a clear understanding. Well, you believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. And I don't hate people who pray to other gods, even if it's outside of Islam. My gripe is with marketing extremism under the guise of Americanism. That's my issue. Now, before you start calling me all the other things, before TikTok takes me down for misinformation, again, let me process their words. Let them tell you in their own words.
Now it's getting through Congress. So before it was by the sword, now it's getting themselves into Parliament and then making laws that act as the sword, the Islamophobia law in Canada, M103.
Yeah.
Muslim Brotherhood. I find that there are only two things which are open to our movements: ballot or bullet, nothing in between.
I used to say that democracy is haram. Now I say participation in democracy is our jihad. That's our jihad. We're going to fight not through the bullets but the ballot.
Going to the ballot and voting is now an obligatory action, fard ayn. And it is a jihad that is now needs to be done because this is our modern jihad. You can elect a person who wants the Sharia.
Because in the United States, what we do know is that in the past election, just this last election, there have been over 800 Muslim candidates running for office.
We may end up with about 50 members of Congress in the next 6 years. That's really the essence of dismantling the system of injustice, is to replace it with the people who represent the Prophet ﷺ.
So let's get straight to it. What we're seeing right here, right now, isn't some conspiracy theory. It's the reality of extremist ideologies finding their way into the halls of power. I'm talking about people who don't assimilate into American values, who exploit the system for influence, and who use promises that sound good on the surface: free housing, free transportation, free perks. And this is what they use to build loyalty. This is how they win you over. Mhm. Look at what's happening right now with Mondamni in New York City. He's promising programs that echo the same tactics used by the former supreme leader of Iran, Ruhollah Khomeini. During the 1979 Iranian Revolution, giving people benefits in exchange for loyalty and ideological alignment. Now, let's be clear. The difference between a mayor in New York and a supreme leader in Iran is checks and balances. A mayor cannot raise taxes at will. A mayor cannot ignore courts, city councils, or existing boards. There are limits in a democratic system. And that's why promises like free everything are largely symbolic and not executable. But don't get it twisted. Extremism doesn't need full control. It'll be dangerous. That's where we tend to like, oh, it's just New York City. No, 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 no. Even a foothold is a foothold. It's the unholy marriage of ideology and opportunism. A soft penetration into political systems that can share policy, that can shape policy, narratives, and culture over time. Extremists, regardless of ideology, operate the same way. They take what the host offers, exploit the system, and gradually try to expand influence. It's very parasitic. And while our Constitution, our elections, and our checks and balances make the United States resilient, history shows that power vacuums and inattention can be exploited. That's my friendly way of saying really get woke. Not that stupid woke, the real woke. Now let's talk assimilation for a moment. Extremist movements often rely on creating parallel systems and communities, not integrating into the host society. They may form social networks, financial structures, and educational systems that reinforce their ideology. That's how they maintain influence over followers and ensure ideological continuity. If unchecked, they can translate that into political influence, whether through lobbying, local elections, or controlling narratives. Now, New Yorkers and all Americans need to understand that limits of government, the actual limits of government promises. Big government doesn't mean better results. Bigger government opens doors for manipulation. And the free things politicians promise, often it's just smoke and mirrors, baby. Free buses, free housing, free utilities. Sounds great on Instagram, but in reality, checks and balances, funding limitations, and bureaucracy mean it's simply not going to happen. Sometimes you need people to learn the hard way, touch that hot stove, You can't buy real change with free giveaways. You can only govern responsibly, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's be clear. I'm not fear-mongering. This isn't fear-mongering. It's about being awake to patterns we've seen across the world. Look at Iran. Look at Syria. Look at countries in North Africa. Extremist elements infiltrate politics gradually, and they've been doing it since the 90s. They use social programs, community services, and ideology to build influence. And before you know it, the government starts bending to their vision. A la New York. The lessons there are clear. Freedom doesn't survive without vigilance. Stay woke. And that's why this is an uncomfortable conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't say it was going to be nice. I didn't say it was going to be cute. It should make you uncomfortable. We value religious freedom here in the United States, and we always will. But extremism of any stripe does not respect freedom. Let's be very, very clear. We heard it 2 takes ago. It doesn't respect pluralism. It doesn't respect dissent. And if we fail to notice the political tactics extremists use here, we risk repeating mistakes others have already made abroad. So let's tie this together. Extremist ideologies, whether in the Middle East or anywhere else, use promise, ideology, and exploitation to gain political leverage. Here in the U.S., we have safeguards, elections, courts, media, civil society. But we must, and I'm going to emphasize this till I am done breathing, we must remain attentive. The real woke. We cannot let soft infiltration go unchecked, because even small influence in city councils, local boards, and legislatures can ripple outward. And history shows what happens when citizens are unaware or apathetic. We're talking about real world consequences, loss of rights, erosion of institutions, and the slow reshaping of society in ways that run counter to our Constitution. No bull. The anecdote is simple. Proper education, vigilance, and active participation in our constitutional republic. Allah, don't lay there like a dumb possum. Wake up. Know who's running, what they promise, how they operate. And then the most important part, you must hold them accountable. Politicians aren't our friends. Donald Trump is not I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I hired Donald Trump to do a job. And you best believe if I see him BSing me, I'm calling him out. It's not, yay, everything Trump does is great. No. Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand it. That's stupid. No. We don't need to be pushing resources here. We don't need to be supporting this country. We don't need to be supporting more these proxy wars. That's how, ladies and gentlemen, we prevent extremist ideologies from gaining traction here in America. America has always been resilient because citizens care enough to check power, not just once, but constantly. This is the fight that never ends, preserving freedom, pluralism, and constitutional governance while remaining aware that extremism doesn't need to topple a nation overnight. It only needs a toe in the door. Stay aware, stay informed, protect your cities, your communities, and your constitution, because the patterns are there. The tools are obvious, and history has already taught us that the cost of ignoring them. And only in 2025 America can you in real time dig up hypocritical statements of political candidates, and they still win elections by wide margins.
You want to see a liar?
I want to say it very clearly. I will not defund the police.
Lie.
I am in favor of defunding the police.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Oh wait, another lie.
I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin.
Doesn't wear hijab.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety.
Maybe he's telling the truth on this one. Oh, wait, nope, lie.
The struggle for Palestinian liberation was at the core of my politics and continues to be. I am not, and nor have I ever called for the legalization of prostitution.
You guessed it, lie.
You support decriminalizing prostitution?
Yes. My fundamental belief that sex work is work. I would be happy to work with the president and the administration.
Lie.
What we need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech.
Lying again.
There are consequences for speaking up in favor of apartheid.
So just find out who you're voting for before you vote who you're voting for.
Boom. So now, right quick in closing, I wanna address the liberals, the white liberal women more specifically, but the liberal women in general, because it's your fault that we have this person in New York City. This person was elected, I should say. I want to talk about how you were sold a pipe dream, how the narrative was shaped, how the political leverage was used, and how the ideology of socialism got wrapped into it. So you were told once upon a time, you were 20-something years old, focus on your career, delay marriage, delay kids, go into debt for the prestige, for the labels, for that university. You'll have the freedom, you'll have the house, the independence, you'll live the best life. But now let's fast forward to 2025. You wake up one day at 45 years old and you're wondering, where did all the time go? The beach house in Kansas is a metaphor for what you were promised. The stability, the comfort, the payoff. Instead, you're floating. Career still ongoing, debt still clinging, maybe no spouse, maybe no children, and now you're mad, so you're hell-bent on revenge. You want to get revenge on the system that sold you the dream and never delivered it. And here comes the political side. In the 2025 U.S. races for gubernatorial seats, mayoral races, state elections, young women and liberal women turned out in strong numbers for candidates who don the socialist label, or at least progressive big government agendas. For instance, one poll shows a major shift amongst Democrats. Only 42% view capitalism positively, while 66% view socialism positively. Another data point in the Zohar Mamdani New York City mayoral race, young female voters under 30 apparently backed him in massive numbers. You see how that works? It's called the pitch. So you as an older woman should be up on game and should be warning these young women, but you're not. You've been screwed by the system, the 9 to 5, the debt, the college loans, the lack of real payoff. We'll rebuild, we'll redistribute, we'll fight the elites, we'll give you justice. And liberal women, especially those delayed in marriage and kids and bank on career success, were receptive. Because the dream sold to you was about freedom, empowerment, options. The left said, yeah, you get freedom, plus social safety nets, plus sharing the wealth, plus a society that has your back. So you vote that way. You cast your ballot for the ideology that promised more than just survival. But here's the catch. Did these candidates win because of the working class? Did they win because they actually built bridges to people who work freight trucks, who stand on assembly lines, who face the daily grind? Not always. In the New York City race, Mamdani's base leaned younger, college-educated, more affluent. You see how the story flips? It flips the system. You were told to fight now. The things you were told to fight for now becomes the vehicle you ride in. The university educated liberal woman, the delayed marriage career professional becomes the bedrock of a political shift. And now you're here. Debt lingering, promises still echoing, your anger turned toward the system, and you've aligned with big government solutions that promise to fix the system. But the question you got to ask yourself, who's running that big government? Who benefits? And are you going to be the one left holding the bag or the one calling the shots? Because when playback happens, you'll realize the pipe dream was sold to you, packaged with empowerment, culture, and all that stuff you bought into. And now you're demanding change with your powdered eggs and your dried up breast milk. But make no mistake, change doesn't mean you escape the debt and detours. Sometimes it means you just change the narrative. So yeah, liberal women, especially liberal white women, you played your part. You backed the candidates. You backed the message. You backed socialism's rising star. And now it's your turn to see what comes next. Are you really free, or are you just a rider on the next train of political promises? Ladies and gentlemen, you've been warned. Now let's turn it up a little bit. This is our Turntable Rewind. Woo! Rewind! Back to the time. No. That was right. That was right, Prince. That was right. Rewind! Back to the time. The year is 1989. And the number one song in the nation was When I See You Smile by Bad English. This power ballad ruled the Billboard Hot 100 in early November 1989, sung by former Baby's frontman John Waite. When I See You Smile captured the spirit of the late 80s arena rock, big vocals, big emotion, and even bigger hair. Hallelujah. The song's message of hope and love resonated with listeners, making it an instant wedding dance classic. Its success helped Bad English briefly dominate MTV and radio airwaves during the glam rock era's final stretch. And the number one album in the country on this day in 1989 was none other than the beautiful, the talented, the amazing Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814. Janet was on top of the world in November 1989 with her socially conscious and sonically bold masterpiece, Rhythm Nation 1814. Mixing pop, R&B, and new jack swing, Janet used her platform to address issues like inequality, unity, without losing her dance floor appeal. The album produced 7 top 5 singles and cemented her status as one of the most powerful artists of her generation. Its military-inspired imagery and choreography became instantly iconic, shaping music video culture for years to come. And the number one movie on this day in 1989 was Look Who's Talking. I don't know if I've seen this movie. I know that I've never seen it as an adult, but as a child, I don't remember. Anyway, Look Who's Talking was the number one movie at the box office. America couldn't get enough of it. A heartwarming comedy starring Kirstie Alley, rest in peace, John Travolta, with Bruce Willis voicing a talking baby. The film's humorous take on parenthood and relationships gave Travolta a career boost and charmed audiences across generations. Released in October and still #1 in early November. It was a lighthearted hit and an era filled with big budget blockbusters, proving that heart and humor could still win over the crowd. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes that I want to get to. Y'all gotta understand, the release date for this has been pushed back twice. So finally, we have a release date for the Michael Jackson biopic. And when I say, I already know this is gonna be epic. I ain't even got to tell you. I already know it's gonna be epic. Anyway, it's scheduled to be released on Friday, April 24th, 2026 in theaters and IMAX. Woo! The film was directed by Antoine Fuqua and written by John Logan. In the lead role is Jafar Jackson, yes, the nephew of Michael Jackson, and other cast members include Nia Long, Coleman Domingo, and Miles Teller, amongst others in the ensemble. Katherine Jackson gave her blessing by saying that Jafar, her grandson, embodies her son. That is a beautiful sentiment. I am glad the family's on board. I'm glad Michael Jackson's story is finally going to be told right, with integrity, showing how this man built something without the internet. He built superstardom without the privilege of the technology and the things we take for granted today. Could you imagine? And even dead, the man's been dead since 2009. And since then has amassed more diamond albums and more coming. Yeah, tell me when your fave does that, and then y'all can sit up here doing these stupid videos about how this one is the new, this one is bigger than Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson. No, they will never be bigger than Michael Jackson, because guess what? People came to see Michael Jackson when they couldn't even really see him. He was a little bitty ant on stage, and there was maybe one monitor that was this big sitting right here over the stage. There was no LED screens that brought him to life. You can't teach that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there are artists today who come close to it. They may sort of, you see the influence, but can they do it without all of that? That's the question. Okay. Shut up. This isn't just another rock star biopic. This is the legacy of the King of Pop brought alive from the smallest stages of childhood in the Jackson 5 to a global takeover with Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous. Mind you, this must be the best quadfecta ever of albums released. Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous. You show me a person with a catalog of the 4 albums, those 4 albums back to back to back, and as soon as Dangerous goes diamond, it's over. So you got Off the Wall, diamond. You got Thriller, diamond. You got Bad, diamond. Now, once Dangerous goes diamond and History is going to go diamond, oh, forget it. It's off the chain. You guys ain't ready for this. Anyway, the legacy is going to be brought to theaters, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go over all the stupid allegation stuff. And hopefully they tell the truth, like not the family, but the people, hopefully, they really were able to really push the line on that, because I want that to be really, really clear what happened to Michael Jackson during those stupid allegations the first time and the second time. And now posthumously, you have another dumb family suing him right now. But that's probably not going to be in the movie. But those first 2, yeah, we really want to see what happened in that. And we're going to go all the way in, because we know that you people, and like I said in the lunchtime rant, and I would show the trailer, but I got but I got a copyright on the lunchtime rant for showing the trailer. But the link to the trailer is in the description of the live stream. It's all the way at the bottom if you want to go click on it and watch it for yourself. But because I ain't getting involved, I'm gonna just show y'all a nice little picture and go about my day. But anyway, the Michael Jackson biopic drops April 24th, 2026. It'll be in theaters and IMAX, and I will probably be seeing this multiple times. And as I said, I don't watch many movies, but I like what I like, so I'm probably going to go to the theater and probably see this about 3, 4, 5, 6 times, because I just believe in having a little bit of fun. But anyway, shout out to Michael Jackson. I appreciate all you gave us, and more people will continue to appreciate. I mean, you have fans who haven't even been born yet. That's crazy. That's crazy to say. That's how you know your music good. You know, when you literally have toddlers jamming to you. You know I'm jamming in Bucharest next week. Anyway, now it's time for an AJ throwback. Woo! Let's go. All right, this was my this is my sexy era. This is one of my dance headshots. Do I look like a dancer? Do I look like the angry dancer, Leroy? I look like oh god, not an out of work boxer. Ah, oh god. Speaking of boxing, that was one of the greatest workouts I've ever had was boxing. I mean, I was sore for 2 weeks. And the guy said, "Come back when you serious." I was like, "Bro, what would have happened if I was serious? I would have been in a wheelchair." Anyway, I like the picture. Oh yeah, Belinda, you know that's Prince. Me and the photographer didn't really get along, but we got some cool images and whatever. Yeah. So welcome to my dance days, and I had a little bit of fun, and we did the damn thing. Anyway, the album cover. No, that's not the album cover. Well, it could be an album cover too. This could definitely be an early 2000s singles cover or album cover. What would my name? Well, I thought once upon a time when I thought I was going to be a recording artist. Here's a little quick story. When I thought I was going to be a recording artist, um, I called myself AJ International. Thank God that never worked out. Woo! What was AJ International going to be singing about? Oh god. Oh, that would have been terrible. Oh god. You know what? I hate you, Prince. Oh god. I look like I want to fight someone, not with all that lip gloss and makeup on. Anyway. Where are we? Oh yeah. Man, leave me alone.
Don't just leave me alone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, all passengers. You are currently on the J train. Inshallah, we'll be at the next stop in 7 minutes. Alhamdulillah. Have a good day, and remember, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah.
That's what you get for stealing boxes. That's what he get for stealing boxes. Watch. Stop stealing packages.
But enough about me, we're here to ram it, you see. If you ram it just right, you can ram it all night. Ram it. Do you know how to ram it? Let's ram it. We know how to ram it. We'll be rocking LA. So let's ram it today.
Lord, I'm gonna regret this one.
Let's ram it right now with the LA Rant. Yo, shout out to Season, man. Tell them about the Season.
Yes. Put your baby daddy in the room and I pay for.
I'm sorry.
Name something that pops up at the worst possible time.
Not for me, but on menstruation cycle. You know, for the ladies.
Administration cycle? What, y'all keep it in a file cabinet somewhere?
Ever heard of the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles?
That's
From Philadelphia, I went there once. Hi, Jalen Hurts so yummy, it should be illegal. So I say, go birds and fly, Eagles fly. Cool, cool.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that?
Can I help you, officer?
Yeah, we got a call about black people on the premises.
What?
You are aware since the executive order, it's illegal.
Illegal? No.
Mind if I look around?
Be my guest.
All right, well, I'm good.
What kind of things are you looking for?
You know, bonnets, do-rags, barbecue potato chips. Wait, what's this? A washcloth?
That's for the sink. I clean myself with soap. And my hand.
Oh, good. Me too. There's a lot of lotion in there.
What you were saying?
Bacon grease in a cup, recycled bags. Spices?
Those were there when I moved in. I swear I'll only use salt and pepper.
Well, it looks like everything's good here.
Oh, good.
I don't see any reason why.
That right there got him in trouble. Now, I don't know. I don't know if other people do that, but I do that. Do you do that, Prince? You don't put something between the surface and the fork? That is a dead giveaway of a black person in your house. Is you put something between the fork and the you getting deported.
God is good all the time.
Officer, I really need to
God
get
is
back.
good all the
What does that
time.
mean?
Shh. And all the time.
God is good.
God.
Oh my God.
Lock him up because this is a Sunday. I'm not playing these like. Matter of fact, no. They had to take him against his will. You not even done no more. Who tied him up to play pin the twist on a baldy? No, matter of fact, yes, you are done. Because you should have never let a nigga get you. Now I'm getting upset. Just know this nigga gotta play flag hairstyle. He's an athlete. Because matter of fact, come to the hood. I bet you a YN snatched him. Matter of fact, throw some water on him. Matter of fact, I'm telling your mother. Don't worry about it. Lock him. No, matter of fact, call a mayor. Because who's in the charge? Who's running this shit over there?
Oh my God. You going to hell if you laugh. Whoever put the Thriller song over that person tweaking, you going to hell. Oh God! I hope I don't get a strike for. I couldn't play the whole thing, but I just put like a little snippet. So come on, Michael Jackson Estate. Let me get through with just that little piece of Thriller. Don't strike me. Don't strike me. There was nothing else I could put over that. There was nothing else. What else could I have put over that? So done. Oh God. All right. So when Belinda said she put something between the surface, then Belinda, you're white, but you're not. So when Bree said it, that okay, cool, it's universal. But you know, there's levels to this, you know, like there's levels to everybody. Anyway. Anyway, where are we? Oh God. Let me pull it together. Let me pull it together. Hold on before we go on. Detroit. Yeah, Belinda's Detroit. All right, cool. Let's land at our inspiration point.
That's the sign of godly character. The godly are praying. The ungodly are protesting. For Jesus says, love your enemies. Jesus says, pray for your enemies. Jesus says, woe are you when all men speak good of you. Jesus said, blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you falsely and say all manner of things against you falsely for my name's sake. Oh, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. Now, there are rewards we get for stewarding beasts well. There is a reward for stewarding opposition well. You handle opposition with love and with prayer. That shows the character of who is the righteous and who is not. So notice there is opposition around the ministry of Christ. And the ministry of Christ has always had opposition. Watch. This ain't the first time people was plotting to kill him. People was plotting to kill him when he came out the womb. Right? Jesus didn't even have to be walking on two legs. From the time he was born, a king named Herod was trying to kill babies, trying to find him to get rid of him. Watch this word. Because his opposition was full of jealousy. It's what we see in the text. That these chief priests and elders and Caiaphas, Matthew told us earlier that these men are full of jealousy. It's the toxicity of misplaced emotions. Where you can't be focused on your own walk, so you got to try to tear down somebody else to prop yourself up. Can't be focused on your own ministry, so you got to try to tear down somebody else's to prop yourself up. No, you are full of jealousy and pride and arrogance. This ain't the first time they try to kill Christ. They was trying to kill him since he was born. They tried to throw him off a cliff in his hometown. I've been on that cliff in Nazareth. I stood on that cliff in Nazareth. They tried to throw him off that cliff. They tried to kill him when he was a baby. They've been plotting on him since the time he showed up on the scene. Why? Because gnats hang around light. Don't believe me? Just wait till it get dark, put a light on outside, and watch how flies come around light. Flies love to hang out around light. Gnats love to hang out around light. Demons love to hang out around light.
Now it's time for some shout outs. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for always holding me down, through whom which all of my blessings flow. Shout out to the production team for always keeping it solid. Major shout out to the Rant fam. Thank y'all so much for always supporting the live streams, the content, for always showing up when I need y'all. And once again, please make sure you like, share, comment, and if you're new here and you like what you saw, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified every time we go live or drop a new video. If you would like to monetarily support the channel, you can always go to AJsRANTroom.com and drop some of your hard-earned cash on our merch. We also take offerings in the virtual collection plate. Now, to some of you, this might be just another podcast, but to me, it's my next chapter and purpose, and I thank you for lending me some of your time. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to give me a few moments of your day, and for that, I'm grateful. And with that said, I'm out.